did a thing where they robbed a delivery truck, stealing leather cuts so that they could, in character, make their cuts and have enough cuts for the gang. I knew Ruby passed it. Hey.
Can you ping me?
Yeah. Where what's your ping?
336.
There you go. Cause she's his bestie. Yeah. Yeah, chat's a little crazy, I'm not gonna lie. Now, you guys have been fucking insane today. I actually had to manually breathe for a minute. A cut-a-thon? Oh, you should. Absolutely. Musical, you are a fucking legend.
Sorry it took me a bit.
No, you're fine. I heard you drive by, I think. Your car is the loudest car in the fucking world. So I assumed you drove by this.
Yeah, I did.
I actually said to myself, I said, what are the odds that you're gonna miss the turn?
Yeah, I went all the way down to the other petrol station.
It's all good. I should have been clear with my instruction.
I also crashed my car on the way up.
Do you need a repair kit?
Yeah.
That I have. That I can do.
Thank you.
You doing okay?
The best I can.
Oh my God, Sean, please. Dear God, not right now, please. I'm fucking begging. I know I don't like asking that question, especially after what you told me, but it sounds like you've had a very busy day, so.
I wouldn't say super busy.
I mean, maybe busy is not the right word. Maybe emotional. Okay.
Yeah, that's probably the one. I know you said not to say thank you, but I'm really thankful for how kind and open you've been. I can't really put into words how much that's actually helped me these past couple days.
You are more than welcome. There's not a lot of people I would stand next to and say the same for. unlike a lot of people that I meet and I see, there is something that I see in you that I don't really care who doesn't see, but after the first conversation with Ziggy, I didn't even hesitate. And as time goes on, I will continue to not hesitate.
That's something I struggle to wrap my head around.
Which part?
The lack of hesitation. Like, I don't know. There's no reason for it.
I don't disagree with you. Inherently. And I think that there's a lot of truth behind that. The police department trains us to see criminals. I train myself to see people. And I know when someone needs help.
I think I'm just not used to people outside the club actually willing to help me.
How come?
Usually when people help me outside the club, they expect something in return. There's a reason for it. A gain, a benefit.
You have given me something in return, though. And I don't think you need to see that, as long as you know it. All I wanted in return was progress. And you have done that 10 times over.
That's thanks to you and Ziggy.
I'm glad we could be there. Despite us being a big part of it to you, I want you to give yourself credit, because whatever we did combined does not come close to what you had to battle and what you will continue to battle.
Guess at the very least it'll be uphill from here.
You think so?
I've said my goodbye. I'm no longer a foot out the door of the club. I'm actually understanding what happened.
They're going to say things that you don't agree with. They're going to do things that you don't want to partake in. And vice versa. You're going to say things that they don't agree with. But despite all that, they are a family. And they care a lot about you.
They do. But I also can't, I guess, fully be me around them. There's parts of myself I have to hide. I guess suppress. That's okay. Because I do have people that I don't have to, I guess, hide being myself around. Especially now, because everyone I've spoken to in that club, I guess outside of Ziggy, keep saying how good of a club member I am. How I'm the ideal club member. But none of them know how close I was to walking out that door a couple days ago. Or a week ago.
The same way that you have those feelings was because of a very close event that affected you. And you hide things from the club because you are concerned for what they may think.
Yeah.
And I promise you, without having any knowledge or information about anyone else in that club, every single person in that club has a demon that they hide from everybody else. And they all have a way of coping with it. And if not, they should. But I could almost guarantee you, for everything that I am worth, you are not alone in that. And that does not make you any different than the rest of them. In particular, with everything with Solomon. I swear to God, I thought we were getting rolled up on.
I was about to pull a knife.
Oh, I was gonna pull a gun. But despite what others may know about the situation, this particular matter affected you with the club, but affected you personally in a way that in a way that not a single other person in the club is able to experience. They may have relation. I know Edbert has something personal regarding his life that I'm not keen on detail with, but that's okay. The issue with Edbert's example and your example is, I would assume Edbert's father was not part of the same club that he is. So while you coped with TJ and your own father, everybody else saw two members of the club while you saw your father.
Apart from Barry.
What do you mean?
EJ was Barry's son.
Oh, fuck. I didn't know. I didn't know that. I had no idea. I didn't know that.
Oh, it's okay.
I'm almost guaranteed. I'm almost certain, I should say. I'm going to ask you an off-the-record question. Completely off the record. Does Barry have high rank affiliation with the ADMC?
Barry.
Mm-hmm.
He advertises as a PM in Lemon List.
Oh, okay. It is Barry's job then to be a leader. And despite what a leader is supposed to do, you may not have seen it. You may not know it. And I don't know it. But I promise you, Barry probably had a version of coping that no one else knows, because it is Barry's job to be a leader. I promise you, you are not alone. Also, by the way, chat, Flop knows that Flop knows Barry's right. We have a gang list. But Flop's not going to assume, because he doesn't want Rue to think that he's trying to snipe for information.
I guess people aren't really that open about it.
So he's trying to be more inconspicuous about his knowledge of the group, so that he doesn't look intimidating as a cop, essentially, because that's not what Flop's goal is. He just wants Rue to know that he cares.
But that's alright, because I found my way of getting through this.
Hmm.
And that's been finding people I can actually rely on.
I can't speak for everybody, but I can speak for me. And I almost guarantee you my words are the same as many others that live under that roof, but there are outlets and there are people who are always open to hear you out. And I will always be there however I can. Whenever I can.
Can I give you a hug?
Of course. You don't have to ask. But just know, I don't know how anyone else feels about it, but to me, at least to some degree, you are family, and I will treat you as such.
I'll do everything I can to repay that.
You've already done it, though.
Well, I'll go above and beyond then.
however you feel and what you feel is enough as repayment. Just know that all I asked for out of all of this was your progress. And the fact that you've improved so much is all I could ask for. So, you've already given me everything that I wanted out of it.
Well, I'll make you a hot chocolate or a cool drawing if you want.
I think a hot chocolate would do.
I'm not very good at them.
You only do better by improving, right?
Yeah, I'm trying.
And that's all I could ask for.
I'll be honest, the last one I made I kind of spat out.
Have you only made one?
2. I made one for me and I put one across the road on Dark's porch.
God, that's so cute. Oh my God, that's so cute. I'm sure he enjoyed it.
I'm hoping so, and I'm hoping I didn't give him food poisoning somehow.
Well, the only way you're going to improve is if you keep doing it, right?
I'm gonna start leaving hot chocolates everywhere for everyone.
Maybe that's what it takes. Just please don't do it to a cop. I don't want to find out you went to jail for bribery. For handing them a hot chocolate.
You can get bribery for a hot chocolate?
If you're in a traffic stop and you say, "Officer, here, I made you a hot chocolate," and they're an asshole, it's possible. Also, by the way, I don't want this to go unnoticed, but Sean, I hate you. Thank you for the
And
5
then if I
gifted,
was to
and then the
flee
other
and
2
get away,
gifted.
would I have a warrant for trying to give an officer a hot chocolate?
Yes. Don't make me regret telling you that.
I'll try not to.
Um, is there anything that you need right now?
No, I'm all good.
You sure? You need money? Do you need anything this second? Pack of cigarettes?
No, cigarettes, yeah. I'm actually out somehow.
Got half a pack in there.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Must have gone through my previous pack.
Kind of how it goes. I used to tell
I've been smoking a lot. Hmm?
I used to tell people on duty, people used to get mad at me for smoking, and I told them that cigarette won't be the thing to kill me at this point.
Yeah, very good point.
Horrible mentality, but there was a point where I was on duty and it was every other call we were getting shot at. And then people got mad at me for having a cigarette. And I said, if you actually think that you're getting on duty fearing for your life with that in your mouth, you were not meant for this job.
I'd imagine not. What made you start smoking?
Um, Mainly stress. I started when I was a detective, actually. I was
Hmm.
dealing with a serial killer who, unironically, is the reason for my little teardrop on my face. But I investigated a case, and during the investigation, I would have a cigarette here and there. Sorry, that was loud. Um, it was more just kind of a fixation, I guess you can say.
Hmm.
But I dealt with a serial killer by the name of Jasper Saxon, which is a name that a lot of people either know or don't. I was one of the lead investigators for that case. Myself and an officer by the name of Mackenzie Hayes received a phone call. Uh, Correction, I'm sorry. We received a recording, a video. Actually, I'm misremembering. It was
Hmm.
either a video or it was a phone call of a location, and it was in Sandy Shores. That's what it was. It was a phone call to Sandy Shores. And we were investigating the property, and there was a man inside. And we walked in to clear it, and we saw that there was a person inside. And we pulled out our guns, and we started making demands that, police come out with your hands up. And he wasn't listening. He was not listening. And there's a little side room. We were in like the kitchen area, and there's a little side room where the main bedroom is. And I had it trained at the door. And there was a individual who came running out of the room with a knife in hand, and I shot him, and he died.
Hmm.
We then found a recording left in the trailer, and after we were done with autopsy report, DNA, everything, we saw a video of this individual with Jasper. Again, this is after This was all over. The tape was left inside
Mm-hmm.
of this individual who was kidnapped and was tortured. His eyes and mouth were sewn shut, and Jasper dressed him up in his clothes to the description that we had of him, and taped a knife to his hand. And the man that I thought was coming to stab me was actually somebody who was reaching out for help. And to this day, I know I did the right thing in the moment. But I can't help but have regret knowing that I had been played by a much, much, much smarter and more dangerous individual.
I'm sorry you went through that.
I appreciate it. I'm sorry too, because it's a lot to take in, but that's when I started smoking.
Mm-hmm. It makes sense.
Give me 1 second.
Mm-hmm.
I guess the optimism out of it all is the optimism, I guess, is that he's dead now. And at least I got to do the justice for the many surviving parties. So it was a very bittersweet ending to it all, but an ending at that.
Yeah. I mean, as you said, you did the right thing in the moment.
Yeah. It's a part of the job that unfortunately no amount of training prepares you for. And that was the first time that it hit
Mm-hmm.
the way that it did.
Was that the first time you'd killed someone?
No, unfortunately. In fact, the first time I ever killed anybody was the very first time I was ever taken out on patrol. And it was the first traffic stop that I had ever responded to with another officer who I wish I could recall. For MetaChat, this was
Mm-hmm.
Rhodes. But Flop don't remember that because of Norman. And I remember we pulled somebody over And while the person I was riding with got out to go issue a ticket, the man got out with a hatchet. I pulled my gun and I shot him before he had a chance to swing on the officer. And yeah, he died. I'll be honest, that one I didn't feel as bad for, but it's still scary. I think the reason I was a little bit less shocked by that was because um prior to being an officer, I was an EMS for about a year. So
Mm.
I dealt a lot with nasty injuries and uh DOAs and stuff like that.
Yeah, I could only imagine. That kind of shit just sticks with you.
Yeah. That's a life that will always be with me. It's funny when I'm on scenes and officers say, "Oh, I don't know what to do. I'm going to hold the pressure." And then they start giving someone with a beating heart CPR and I have to yell at them. But we're a police department. We never claim to be functional though.
Yeah, I mean, even I know how to try and help stop bleeding to an extent.
When you hear hold pressure, you hold pressure. That don't mean release pressure and pump it.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that's I'll be honest, that's a side of me I haven't talked about in a very long time. But it did happen.
Sorry for bringing that up.
No, you're fine. I think it's good to stay relevant with stuff like that
Mm-hmm.
because as much as it is hard to bring up the past on a traumatic experience, I think it's important for people to remember that those experiences make who we are and they affected us in a way before, but it's how we learn to continue to move forward during those harder times. So,
Yeah. Yeah, it's like kind of the opposite here, right? I've been the one to inflict this kind of shit upon people.
sorry, what was that?
Kind of the opposite. I've been the one to inflict stuff on people.
Still doesn't make you a bad person, contrary to what a lot of people would say.
Yeah.
I look at life with a very open mind. Part of that open mind is a very simple process that I'll use you for example. Your life is different from mine, but your structure, your group, orders, uh, a standard operating procedure is all very similar.
Mm-hmm.
And the way that I view things is while I don't agree with everything that happens on the other side, I have to remind officers, many of them, and even members of gangs, that I don't have to agree with everything, but I need to respect that you have a reason for doing it, just like I have a reason for doing what I do. Just like you don't agree with everything that the police does, but I'm sure you respect the fact that whoever's, arresting you or is talking to you is just doing their job too.
I do. I mean, I've never hurt someone that didn't deserve it.
There's a few. That's what court's for, but not as, you know, it's not all bad. I mean, right now a lot of it's bad, but honestly, the best thing I've done was disassociate from the bullshit and just did me, which is what I've always done.
Yeah, that's the best way to go about it.
I can say it's gotten me far, even though, I'll be honest, I actually told my command in my shift that I never want to see the day again where I am a sergeant.
Didn't like it?
Um, Not that I don't like it. This PD has shown me that the way that I police is not what we stand for. Um, a lot of what I do and a lot of what I'm taught is to prioritize the person, but really what that means is to prioritize the 911 call, prioritize, getting the scene together. This PD does not see my form of policing as a standard. And I believe that I shouldn't be sitting at a rank that would put me in a position to be part of the structure that doesn't agree with me. I think differences are good, but I'm a firm believer that if I don't fit the bill on where everyone else is at, then I'm considered a bottleneck. And I'd rather not be a bottleneck and let other people do the job.
That's understandable, but I guess disappointing that you come to terms with that. I guess more disappointing that's the way it is at the moment.
Yeah. Um, I think they're healthiest terms though, because the reality is when I was a sergeant, I was still me, but there's a lot more on paper procedure that needs to come with the job. A lot of it.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't see myself wanting to be there anymore. While, how do I say this? When you make the rank of sergeant, it becomes a lot more internal and a lot more uh, driven by what's right and what's wrong. And I did the job. I was a sergeant for a while many years ago, and I very much enjoyed it. But I remember the job being taxing. And for a while there, I kind of lost who I was emotionally. And I feel like knowing who I am and the type of the type of officer that I am, I don't see myself wanting to be in a position where I can't be me, or I need to put stuff aside to no longer be me. And as a senior, I am able to be grounded for guidance for people, but I am also at a position where I am able to still be myself.
That's a good spot to be then.
No, most definitely. I would do it all over again too. Uh, time and time again, I would do that.
So you're happy where you're at in the police department?
Am I happy where I am right now?
Mm-hmm.
No, but I'll be honest with you. I don't think I ever will be.
Can I ask why?
Yeah. Um, Ziggy has brought something that meant a lot to a lot of people when he was an officer, and that was the Rangers. During the restructure, Tessa Lamb took over, and I was a huge guide in trying to continue that on and to help keep that light shining. And when I came back to the island after they let us back on, uh, they allowed us to. They invited, I should say, many of us to come in to help, as they called it, the skeleton crew. And my one goal, my main goal in this police department is to, whether it be the last thing I ever did here, I feel, based on the fact that Ziggy did actually try and put in his application and never got an answer, and that Tessa was not making a return, my goal and drive and passion, whether it again be the last thing that I did, was to see some form of the Rangers making some form of a return. And I want to, under any circumstance, continue that to be my goal. However, with the Rangers, or I guess with the Sheriff's Department coming in, a lot of what I did was had long meetings with Cornwood, and we had a very nice plan about a good structure for incorporating the Sheriff's Department with the Rangers. And he wanted me to lead it and run it. Since the Sheriff's Department has been open, there have been many people who have transferred to the BCSO. And I made it a point very early on my interest in wanting to be an officer up north, as it would allow me a better opportunity to let my dream become a real thing. And so far, I have not been reached out to once by anybody. And that's okay. But I won't lie, it does hurt to think that after all of the advocation I had for the BCSO, for the Sheriff's Department, all the advocation I had for guidance, and all the advocation I had for information on something that I would like to do and that I had the dream of and goal of doing, is inherently being bottlenecked. And I'll be honest with you, I don't know, but I think if the message I'm looking at is correct, the people in charge, I don't believe like me.
Who doesn't like you?
I'll be honest, it's hard to say. Their structure continues to change. But I can't think of any other reason why I wouldn't have been reached out to, why I wouldn't have been helped, why I wouldn't have gotten an answer. And whether it was intended or not, or whether, this is sort of where it's at. It does feel a little, I think, personal.
Are you able to follow it up? Or is it you have to wait for them to reach out to you?
It's a 50-50. If I reach out, I look nosy, when really I'm just looking for an answer. But at the same time, if I wait patiently, then maybe there's a chance I get reached out to. But I won't lie to you, I've already reached out to the people who I feel like know me and know what I stand for, who are involved. And I have been told that my name is being pushed, or that my name will be pushed. But it does feel like, since there hasn't been a response, it does feel a little personal. And knowing that I've already reached out, it does make that a little harder. Oh, Bindir, as soon as she said it, I knew it. She wants to go shoot Bones in the head. I know it. I fucking know it.
I'd imagine. Bit shit that you're seen as nosy if you keep asking.
Yeah.
If anything, I see that as determination and, willing to put your hand up and that you're willing to do it if you keep asking. So obviously they're not putting the cogs into motion to get it going.
Yeah. I will say this, with all respect. I'm up here for a reason, and that's because regardless of the department I'm in, I'm going to keep this passion going. And I've already told a fellow friend from earlier, who's also an officer, I told her that I'm going to continue to do what I know is my passion and my love. And if I'm told to stop doing it, I'm going to tell them to fire me.